about biblical worldview, and he said, but Jesus said, his last word, but he's not only dead, he's risen, he's a living God. And he said, I am the way and the truth and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through me. And that point, I saw myself in front of Jesus. Jesus was in front of me with open arms. And I was in this room with many different doors. Like, all the doors were shut. And I saw myself, I wanted to just run away. I was like, is there anything more? Am I missing something, And those doors were like, before it was open, I would go in and out of this room. About like, what about this? What about that? And keep wandering around. I was like a lost sheep. But then now Jesus really answered all my questions. And here I am, that he was saying, can't you see me now, that I'm the truth you're looking for? I am the way, and I'm the truth, and I'm the life. So that point, I just saw myself like I could not run away. I had no place to go. And I really get it. And God just really got me right there, holding me. And I had no doubt that I knew, okay, Lord, I see this is the reason of my life, and this is the way I should go, and I wanted to follow, no matter what it takes to follow this road. So that was a turning point in my life, and I'm so thankful to God that he got he got a hold of me. I'm no longer lost sheep. And after that, so many miracles happened. And somebody prophesied once in 2002 with one of the teens, said, English, God told me next time when you come to this airport, you'll go to America. And I was like, how did she hear from God? Did she hear from God, like his voice? Did God spoke to her face to face? Or I just couldn't picture it. And I was like, there's no way I can go to America. It's too far away. It's too expensive. I don't have any money. Kind of no thank you. But before I die, maybe once in my lifetime, if I go to America, that would be wonderful. So I just tucked it in my pocket and then studied for engineering degree. And my mom thought it will be good for my family. As the oldest in my family, I have responsibility to take care of my parents, my siblings. So there's a huge load on me. And as I study and then finishing up, and I feel so empty. There's something is missing. And I don't have any compassion to do this job, any joy to do it. And I wondered, God, what is this? And I was reading about Paul's story that time. And my professor said, oh, you have to study for a master's degree. Once you ended up getting married and have children, there's no way you can go back to school or da-da-da-da-da. And careers, all these titles. And at the same time, God started speaking to me. And I dig up back, said, Lord, once you told me to go to America, what does it mean? And I remember I was doing my internship in a big power plant. We have coal power plant. It's so noisy. When you get out of it, your head goes maybe shaking. Not really, but it's so, heavy. And I remember there was a beautiful sunset. And the really gentle, still, small voice whispered. And it says, and asked me, English, do you want to stay in this office all of your life? Your life will be okay. Your family will be fine. You'll make pretty good money. You'll have a pretty good career. But there's a whole outer world is waiting for you. Do you want to go? And I said to God, I want to go. I just said it in my heart. But I believe now I can see that God was waiting for me to say yes to him, to respond to his call. And he didn't want me to just smug at me, go to this road. He's so relationship. That's all he wants is relationship with us. That's so close and intimate. And he wants to partner with us. So I believe that was his timing that he was telling me, now, this way, I want you to go. And after that amazingly, many doors opened up. That invitation came from America. I made it to YWAM Discovery Bay in Port Townsend, Washington. So much to learn. And discipleship training school really helped me to learn about God, who he is, and his character, and forgiveness of Father. That when they taught me about Fatherhood of God, I tell you, I was like, I didn't want to sit in that classroom. It was so hard to me to hear about God as my Father, because it brought all the bad memories to me, and all those bad memories was like I buried deep down in the ground. And every time I listen to God is your Father and Heavenly Father, I think of my earthly father, and it really impacted me. Like I just didn't want to. It was so hard to bring it back to those memories, so hurting. But when we cut and hurts, injured, it hurts, right? And then when you put surgery or like medicine on it, it's owier. It hurts, right? But it's a good pain. It's a healing pain. So I was going through that process, and I just have to allow God to heal me. It took me a while, and then in the end of the class about the part of teaching, they were praying for each student. And I was still trying to escape and run and still holding back. But there was a Holy Spirit really holding me over there. Okay, sit down, just listen. And so my turn came. I was the last person in a circle, prayer circle. And they put me in a hot spot. That's like, it's a hot chair prayer. It's full of God's presence. So I just finally sit down. As soon as I sat down, I just started weeping. Because God's presence is so rich, and that I couldn't hold my tears. Just flooding. And all the memories now came on the surface, on the table. And I was able to ask us, God, where were you? That I don't understand why you left me there. I don't understand why, when I was going through this, where were you? So my first question I wanted to know is, where were you, God? I felt like maybe he left me. He didn't care about me. If you were my father, why didn't you come and save me? All these questions. And, as a child, once I looked like in our ceiling, I wished there was a camera looking at me and record all that's happening in our household and how terrible is it. So, and then I just saw Jesus instead of that, camera position where I wish there would be. And I saw Jesus on the cross, and he was hanging there and just watching over our family and all of us. And he was telling me, I was there for you. When you were going through this, I was there for you. When you're going through this hard situation, that hard situation, I was there for you. That's why I died on the cross for you. And I gave my life to you. So that was really, just seeing Jesus, he was there, knowing he was there for me. And world is it's all full of this garbage and wickedness. But God has this hope. He is the only one who gives us hope. A new creation, new life, new beginning, and restore us. And it's like out of the ashes. I love this song that we might see can we show the picture of our construction project? The Lord gave me this vision. I had a privilege to go to Mongolia and one tribal people. Maybe we can show the reindeer people first, I'm sorry. They live in the teepees, and they herd reindeer, and they're very strong shaman believers. Like, are you familiar with shamanism? That's like medicine man type of people. And they have drums just like Indian Native American drums. So in Mongolia, it's so sacred only to shaman people. And they use it, they worship the great sky, whatever that false god is. And so in the whole nation, we are afraid of those people because they are very fear-controlling. And when I was a student, my mom told me, okay, my daughter, if you ever meet the man from this province, don't you ever get married because they are pretty scary and they would control you. And these are the people group that has, they live in the teepees still, they herd reindeer. So I had privilege to go to there in 2008. And as soon as we took this long 3 weeks of horseback riding, pretty adventurous. And it's so tundra, muddy and rocky, really hard trail you get to, you take in order to get to these people. So finally we got there, and I was going towards the teepee, and I felt like I was going through this arch of gates. And God's presence was so heavy on me. and I couldn't pass it. I had to stop there. So as I stopped there, I heard this voice was telling me, Anchors, let them know I'm the creator. And I want them to worship me instead of my creation. So I was like Moses that time. I was like so scared and, oh no, God, please don't choose me. You can choose other people. You can send me anywhere you want, but please don't send me to these people because I'm so afraid. So I was so stubborn, really disobedient. And I just pretended I didn't listen to God's voice. So I continued going and then came to DTS, and God extended my visa. I came here for 6-month visa. We worked on my visa 2 years. It's so hard to get visa for Mongolians. So finally, it's an amazing miracle of God. In 6 months, I thought I'll go back home, but God had different plan. We see ourselves like little ant, like how you call it, ant or ant? Ant, the animal? Okay, tiny little ant. And we see ourselves in a box, I thought I'll figure out something and I'll do this way. But God sees like eagle's view, he sees everything beyond. And so my 6-month visa extended into 4 years visa. It's a crazy miracle. If you want to hear, I'll just share very quick that we went to China and Thailand on outreach. And on the way back, I had 1 month left, so we were trying to go back and we have graduation ceremony. So I thought, okay, I will meet my friends again and go back home. But at the customs, they hold me back and they said, okay, young lady, go to this room. They gave me this big piece of paper and they were really mean. That's why I'm afraid of immigration people. They are really scary and ask you, who are you? What you going to do in our country,